This morning, tragedy in Sydney's inner west. A one-year-old girl found dead after she was mistakenly left in a car for several hours. The death toll rises in the North Queensland flooding disaster. An elderly woman found in a cane field. Thousands joined together for a touching tribute to shark attack victim Charlize Zamuda, her father devastated by the loss of the 17-year-old lifesaver. And the police officer who claims he was racially harassed takes the stand in Sam Kerr's trial.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
A heartbreaking tragedy has unfolded in Sydney with a child found dead inside a car in Sydney's inner west. It's believed the one-year-old was discovered strapped to her booster capsule near a childcare centre in Earlwood.
And what we believe so far, very early stages, is that the baby was left inside the vehicle for an extended period of time today.
7 News understands a man turned up at the preschool to pick up the baby last night. He asked a worker where she was, but staff replied she'd never been dropped off. Running outside, the man found the child inside the vehicle. He's now helping police with the investigation. Bluewater and Ingham have only just started the clean-up following the devastating floods that ravaged their towns. And now the tight-knit community is mourning the second death of one of their own. An 82-year-old woman from Bermerside was located shortly after 11 a.m. yesterday and is the second casualty of the floods. It comes as far north Queenslanders brace for even more torrential rain, with up to 270 millimetres possible over the next 3 days. A 17-year-old girl has been remembered with a touching beachside tribute after she was killed in a fatal shark attack off Queensland's Bribie Island earlier this week. More than 1,000 people gathered together to lay flowers on the sand in Charlize Zamuda's honour.
I had so many people come up and say that kid is so talented as a singer, and that as a dad it made me so proud to have that talent taken away right now. As a dad kills me.
A GoFundMe fundraiser for the family has raised nearly $43,000. Labor has banned the Chinese AI tool Deepseek from government devices over fears the ChatGPT competitor poses a national security risk. The ban has been limited to just government devices, but a stern warning has also been issued to citizens about how their online data is used by platforms, the government stressing the importance of privacy. The AFL world is in mourning after the shocking death of Troy Selwood. Drafted by the Lions in 2002, Selwood played 75 games over 5 seasons, earning a reputation as one of the club's most fearless players. The AFL legend later joined famous footballing brothers Joel and Scott at the Cats in 2010. Selwood was found dead in his home at Geelong yesterday at 40 years old. One man is dead and a woman has been injured in a suspected family violence attack north of Perth. Homicide detectives are interviewing a man in his 30s, believed to be the son of a 72-year-old Clarkson man. His father was found dead inside his home with stab wounds. A 52-year-old woman, believed to be the alleged attacker's stepmother, was also found with stab wounds and is in a stable condition in hospital. Melbourne police have used extreme tactics to end a citywide crime rampage that left 2 officers and 2 offenders in hospital. An 18 and 20-year-old allegedly stabbed a man with a machete at a Bentley tobacco store before holding a female at knife point in a second armed robbery. The 18-year-old is one of Victoria's worst youth offenders, previously charged with armed robberies and home invasions. Police rammed a stolen ute used by the pair to end the rampage. Both men are in hospital this morning under police guard. An Adelaide woman has gone on a violent tirade against a young schoolgirl in her classroom as fellow school children looked on in horror.
Yeah, you ever to my daughter again, I'll see you through. I'll be waiting for you, and that smart little over there. Yeah, you know what? You're just jealous because you're a
The woman was finally ushered out of the classroom by her husband. South Australian police have confirmed an investigation is underway. We've been given a new clue tonight about when we'll be heading to the polls for the federal election. The Prime Minister now expected to play the long game after appearing back in Canberra today in a fiery return to Parliament.
A rare moment, all singing from the same song sheet. The chances of this, though?
Love one another. Be compassionate and humble.
Not a prayer.
This is the worst, sloppiest policy put forward by any opposition that I've seen.
The policy, Peter Dutton's tax-deductible lunches for small businesses.
He wants workers to pay for bosses' lunches, and he will smash the budget in the process.
Treasury costing it at $1.6 billion a year. The Coalition claims the Parliamentary Budget Office puts it at just $250 million, but refuses to release that estimate while rejecting Treasury's.
Well, it's nonsense. It's just straight nonsense.
Peter Dutton arguing that big businesses like Coles, Woolworths and Qantas already hold catered lunches in-house and claim thousands in tax deductions, adding this barb.
A lunch that the Prime Minister or the Treasurer could attend or perhaps have in the past.
That, as the election guessing game dominates this place. Two ministers telling 7 News today they now expect the Prime Minister to go long. A March budget and a May election. Those ministers wanting to use big budget announcements as a springboard into a campaign and wrest momentum from Peter Dutton.
Are you ready for the election and can you win it?
No, well, I am ready for the election. I believe it'll be tough.
Every vote crucial.
Are you on the roll?
Mark Riley, 7 News.
China has hit back at Donald Trump's 10% tariff, with Beijing imposing its own counter-tariffs on American products. Let's go live to Blake Johnson in the US. Blake, China quick to retaliate as Trump's tariff took effect.
Jem, good morning. China has made imported American coal and LNG 15% more expensive, and it's also putting a 10% tariff on crude oil, farm machinery, big cars and utes imported from the US. This is in retaliation to the United States putting a 10% tariff on almost every Chinese import, which is expected to increase the cost of pharmaceuticals and electronics here. On top of this, China is launching an investigation into Google, claiming a suspected violation of its anti-monopoly policies. This is despite Google not being available as a search engine in China and the company having minimal operations there. Donald Trump has talked up a big win in his trade war with Canada and Mexico, but after saying just last week there was nothing those countries could do to avoid tariffs, well, they have avoided them, and they've only secured minor promises from both countries to increase their border. Canada promised much of its border plan back in December, and Mexico often moves troops to the border. It has done previously without the threat of a US trade war.
Blake, thank you. Victoria's volunteer firefighting force has sunk to a new low at a crucial point in the battle against bushfires in the state's west. New figures show the Victorian volunteer force is half the size of the one in New South Wales. The report comes as new watch and act alerts were issued for blazes in the Grampians and Little Desert overnight. John Farnham's family has shared a rare health update, revealing he's recovering well after throat cancer. Son James says 75-year-old John is kicking goals and looking forward to the birth of his first grandchild.
He's doing really well, walking and running around the house, and annoying mum, as my brother said, and it's good that he's starting to get fitter now, because now we've got a little one on the way, so he's got a lot to do later this year.
The Farnham family is helping to raise money for Cancer Research Giving Day.